Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host Evan Teagle. With me, like always, is Noah Bailey. So, kicking off today, this morning, Nintendo released a new gameplay trailer for Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Almost said Breath of the Wild 2. It's not Breath of the Wild 2. It is Tears of the Kingdom. And Noah, what were the two major complaints I said I wish they would fix in this
It's almost like they listen.
like, oh, people don't like, the fact that weapons break. But because we're Nintendo, we can't just, we can't have
Fix
people
them.
just fix them or craft new ones or blacksmith. We can't just do that. We gotta be
It's
Nintendo
too
about it.
easy.
Yes, we
Yeah.
gotta.
Gotta
Take,
break the game again.
yeah, take a stick and just put a rock on top of it. A new weapon. I
Dude,
love it so much.
the possibilities are insane. Like,
like, like you can put a long stick on a pitchfork, and it's an even longer pitchfork.
yes. You just got some giant, like, javelin looking thing, and it's like, yeah. Like, imagine throwing that. Like, you know what I
Right?
mean? Like, this would be awesome.
Uh, and
You just,
I love so much how he specifically showed it off with an almost completely broken stick. He attached a boulder to it, and then it had significantly more stamina. Like, that's
yep.
fantastic.
And the attack goes up. It even shows you by how much.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine later in the game you combine weapons and then you've got like Royal Lionel Savage Bow
Oh my
something. I don't
goodness.
know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be freaking
like,
insane.
can my only question is, can you combine like two of the same weapon? Like, if you combined two
Ooh.
great broadswords and put them together, like, does it make like a thicker sword, a longer sword? Is it just like a stronger
Just
that weapon?
twice as strong, maybe.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Possibilities are insane. There's so many materials, different weapons, like you said. I mean, I thought the cool. I mean, even the shield with the mushroom cloud thing was like
Hmm.
so cool. Oh, that's like because
I
that like
I never used the shield. When I played Breath of the Wild, I just never used it outside of
really.
like shielding to do like the like matrix dodge. But that's why, like, I
Hmm.
never really shielded
Dude,
that
I showed
much.
all the
But
time. I showed all the time. I'm not like, especially when I first started out when I wasn't good at dodging because I was like, no, this is
mm-hmm.
no. But I mean, I think that's so cool because now you can add more elements to it. There's way more. You can strategize fights more. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is
Like, you
huge.
can add like lightning or ice chew jelly to weapons to give them a different effect.
Yes.
Like I wonder if it's just arrows or if you can just make a regular sword into a flame sword. Like, I don't.
Probably.
Probably,
That's what I
right?
would think. You could probably make an elemental version of whatever weapon you have automatically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love this so much because not that not that killing enemies in the other game, like, not that it was like a waste of time, but it felt like this, because every single weapon, every single drop from enemies can be used for something. Like, you actually, like, if you see like those little bat things, like, oh, I can use their eyes to make tracking arrows now. Like,
Yes. That's
every
awesome.
single enemy has multiple purposes within the stuff they drop, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, that's huge because yeah, like I mean, like all these, because like how many materials of like like weapon, a goblin tooth or whatever, you just got
So many bat wings, so
999
many
of them.
horns, so many whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
that you don't need. You never, you know, how many ancient screws I have. Like,
Uh,
you know what I mean? Like, you don't need them, but it's like now you can actually use them for a good purpose and actually
mm-hmm.
comes through. It's like this is huge. This is
Yeah, like, even if they just add like one extra point of damage, like, that could, help you out a
that's a
bit.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. And especially if you have like multi-shot arrows and then you combine that. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Like,
that's a
in
lot.
one of the earlier trailers, I think they put the eye on a bomb arrow, which is good.
Just like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah,
Yep.
dude,
Yep.
there's the powers or all like. Okay, what did you think about the whole like ceiling up through like
I
power?
I
It's like,
enjoyed that quite a bit.
dude,
Them
I
them
I think I
specifically
tweeted.
saying you can go into a cave and ascend a mountain. It's like yes.
Case. Because we were all thinking it. That's what we were all thinking. We were like, if we go from the bottom and just we're on the top, like, yes, you can do that now.
You
Like,
no longer have to climb during a rainstorm anymore. You can just go up.
oh my gosh, dude. Like, that helps so much. That changes so, and also just it saves time. It's
Mm-hmm.
faster, and it's also like, I mean, think about how that's going to affect puzzles. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be huge with puzzles.
Yep. Like they, I kind of wish they had shown just like one, not. I don't know. Like I don't know if shrines are going to come back, or if they're going to go with more traditional dungeons or whatever. But just like one, whatever, like the challenge room, and they had just shown like a second of you doing something in a challenge room. Be like this is how it's implemented in a puzzle, like just a quick shot. But they didn't. There's let your imagination run wild. You'll experience it in
Yeah.
May, whatever. Like it's fine. but but yeah, like that's probably why the game took so long to make. Like those two things were just like we need to make these perfect because
Right. Should have changed. And you have to change the physics about all that stuff. And also having to like make a version ready of every single possible combination of everything you can combine probably took forever.
mm-hmm.
But it is, dude. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I did not think this game was gonna get topped, and now I'm like, yeah, they did it.
Because I was going into this game just assuming they wouldn't even fix that stuff. Because Nintendo does either two things: a, they either fix it but in like a weird Nintendo way where it's like not quite how you want, but you're glad they at least attempted, or B, they just don't do anything because it was so good to begin with. They're like, people will forgive it, and we would have, but like,
Yeah.
but they seem to actually do it in a way that was actually like, from what I can tell, I haven't actually played it yet. From what I can tell, actually a very good solution. So,
Right. It seems really cool. And again, I like what you said. Like, it wasn't a direct solution, but it's kind of more indirect. It still works. It fixes what you want, but it also adds even more possibilities. It's not just, oh, we can fix whatever. It's like, oh no, now you can merge things. Do with that what you will. And you're like, oh,
mm,
I will. Like,
right.
it's
I
huge.
like my number one question is, can you fuse stuff to the Master Sword? Like, is that like
Man, I
right?
feel like the Masters. I mean, like you should, but I feel like the Master would probably going to be like the one thing you can't. But
mm,
like, my thing is like, I mean, how is that going to affect like like is that going to be affect like materials in the wild too? Like you can just fuse materials and make new materials too, and then those things can make other things, or like you
huh?
can make like super hardy truffles or something. Like, is that?
Because I'm under the assumption that like, let's say you fuse a stick to a rock, you can't fuse anything else with that.
Mhm.
But as far as just like random materials, I so
Right?
yeah, I don't know. Like, if
That's
it
what I was
if that is true, like how like yeah, huh?
like. How deep does it go?
Yeah,
Like, kind of thing.
we'll just find out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you just have to play the game and see, because that's like the first thing
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna try. I'm like, okay, do I just fuse things together until I get one giant? Do I just get one giant apple at the end? Like, how's this? I don't even know. Like,
and, and the enemies having fused weapons as well is a lot of fun.
yes, which is good because again, like, not only do they like they'll give you ideas probably first of all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I like how that one enemy it had that big like fan sword kind of thing where it's like, oh,
Yeah,
it has multiple properties. That's really cool.
yeah. Which one of my favorite things in Breath of the Wild was using a big leaf. It's like blowing people around.
Yes, yes, 100%. Just be that guy.
Mhm. And even though I would have liked to see like more new enemy types, I think they chose a very the right enemy type to show because not only is that just like a cool new enemy type, it's also specifically I don't remember the name of it. It starts with a Z. Is like some Z droid. The that Z name is a name of a clan that was mentioned like just in passing as like this ancient like thought to be dead clan in the original Breath of the Wild, and now they're like, oh, they've just been living in the sky this whole time. It's like, all right.
Makes sense to me. Yep, sure.
Yeah. So like they didn't tell any story. They didn't go over any like new characters, but we know at least that will be delved into a little more. Like that clan will be in some capacity explored. Like that's good.
What did you think of the whole Sky Towers in general?
I mean, that's cool. I they said there's going to be multiple ways to get up there. I'm curious for like all the different ways, because if I have to go up just with with the rewind feature, that might be a little tedious. But like if you could like fast travel or
Yeah.
just fly up there towards the end, like um, but I'm sure they'll they'll make it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like we've seen in other trailers, you can have like some kind of flying machine,
Mm-hmm.
as well as, I mean, you can probably going to have like waypoints or something too. So I mean, it
Right.
probably won't be too bad. But I am super excited because yeah, and I like how it is. As you know, you don't jump down and you like tell them like you jump down and you jump down, like it's
It's
just you're going.
seamless. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
like it's the meme of like, how is the Switch even running this? But like kinda, yeah, like how is the Switch doing this?
Honestly, it's like check for fall damage. It's like, we got a paraglider, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, oh
Oh,
man.
and I liked how when he first got up to the top platform, he like panned around. You could see the dragon flying in the background. Like,
Yeah, the
like,
dragon was still like a lot of features from the old game were still like dragon's
mm,
still there. You saw some old enemies. Even the riding music when he was riding the horse was the same. And I was like, okay, I like that.
like
They're keeping it like it's still the same universe for the most part.
right. A part of me does kind of wish they showed just like one one major element that could really sell anybody who's on the fence about it just being DLC or whatever, which like this idea that this game needed to do anything other than introduce new mechanics and a new story in order for it to be a
Hmm.
new game, when like every single game is just like a sequel usually is like, if it's in like the same generation of consoles, is same engine but with a new story and new mechanics. Like
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us 2 did that. Horizon Forbidden
Man.
West, you know, every Call of Duty game, like this
Yeah.
is what games are.
Yes.
But all of a sudden now that Zelda, because Zelda has the same map, but obviously things are different in the map. But because it's the same map, it's just an expansion. Like that's so nearsighted. but but
Yeah.
regardless,
Well,
some people are still at least trolls about it online. So we kind of wish they'd shown us one little thing to be like, "Here, this is new."
Well, I mean, they already showed the sky. I mean, that's already
I know.
enormously huge. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that in itself is enough. Not to mention all the new abilities that are absolutely game breaking.
Mm,
So it's kind of like, I mean, the map can be exactly the same with just island on top of this map. But they
mm.
probably are going to add some new areas or something, or change things up. But I mean, it's I kind of would like it more almost if the map was the exact same and I already know where to
Mm.
go.
Like it's been a couple years since I played Breath of the Wild, so it would be a relatively new experience for
Yeah,
me. So yeah.
yeah, that'd be helpful. Do, do you think these new abilities are going to replace all the old ones we have with the Sheikah Slate entirely, or do you
Um.
think they'll kind of both be available? So that is one thing I always worry about with sequels. They kind of forget the old stuff in favor of the new stuff.
Yeah. It did look like none of the other stuff were in the trailer. There was no like icons or whatever about the old stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I wouldn't be surprised. It is something Nintendo does quite a bit. um, like they feel they need to overcorrect with like making a new gimmick or making like new elements and basically restart. But because it is the same map and the same like a lot of the same characters and same general vibe, I wouldn't be surprised if halfway through the game you either get that stuff back or you just have it the whole time. But but I wouldn't really put money
Yeah,
on it one way or the other.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I didn't know. Like, when I was looking at the interface, I didn't see anything. So I was like, oh man, I hope they don't like. Oh yeah, no more stasis, no more magnesium. I was just like that felt very important, no more bombs.
Mm.
It's like, oh, I don't know, but
The
we'll
the
have to see.
the rewind feature seemed it wasn't exactly like stasis, but it seemed to be at least to have a similar feature.
Yeah, and like the timer thing looked the same and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
but it would obviously a different functionality. But just
right,
if as long as they have stuff that reasonably replaces it, I think I'll be fine with it.
yeah. Do you think the rewind? How far do you think the rewind feature would go? Like, assuming it probably works on enemies too, and just kind of
Yeah,
sends them
it
back or whatever. I mean,
in the very first trailer or one of the trailers before we saw Link like stop a boulder and like send it like stop a boulder and some enemies and like send it back at them. So
ooh,
I don't know if it would like if the boulder would like roll into them and then roll back, or what. But yeah, it looks like you can at least you can stop enemies too. But I'm not sure how like how far back they would go.
yeah, be so cool. That'd be so cool. But yeah, this looks awesome. I'm really excited about this.
Yep, like it was already it was the game of the year, like easy, like.
Right?
And the fact that they addressed my only two complaints about the game, climbing in the rain and breaking weapons, like we're golden.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like some Zelda fans might be a little upset that there's not like confirmation of traditional dungeons or whatever other like more traditional Zelda thing, but like this basically this is a brand new franchise. Like it is still Zelda, but like
Yeah.
it doesn't need that to be successful. It doesn't need that to be good.
Yeah.
So
It's not Breath of the Wild 2, but it's Breath of the Wild 2.
yeah, yeah, May 12th. So I
Yeah,
might
dude.
take off of work that day.
What is that, a Tuesday? Was that probably a Friday? Probably.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, I honestly probably will. I honestly probably will. We'll see. I might have to. It's a holiday. It might as well be.
Right. Okay. Moving on to a bunch of DC stuff we've missed over since the last time we've talked. Apparently, James Gunn is the one who will be directing Superman Legacy. So that was something that was like kind of rumored, but he officially confirmed it sometime last week, which I think. I mean, I have no reason to doubt that he'll do a great job. Like I said before, the Guardians movies are great. I love the Suicide Squad, and I just feel like he has this passion for superheroes that most other people don't, let alone directors. So I think he's a very good choice for making that movie.
Agreed.
Yeah, he did kind of say something to the tune of like this movie will be like him wrestling with like his different lineages of like how he perceives his home life versus his parentage on on Krypton. So, but that which kind like on paper sounds very similar to like kind of the idea that Man of Steel was setting up, but I think James Gunn could do a incredible story even if it has like almost the exact same like puzzle pieces. So
And keep the character more traditional and how it's kind of expected. I think that will carry a long way.
right, yeah, and I think they said they're already doing casting calls for various characters. So probably within the next, I'll say within 6 months, we're gonna find out who Superman is, because there's a bunch of fan casts and there's two in particular that are just like, if it's not either of these two, you're gonna need to convince me that this person is Superman. Because these two guys, I cannot think of their names, but these two I've seen pop up a lot. These two look exactly like Clark Kent. So yeah, that's good.
That's great.
James Gunn has also teased that he is currently trying to get a Wonder Woman animated series off the ground at Warner Brothers, which I
Don't
think
think
it's
we've ever
about.
had an animated. Yeah.
No, we've had maybe 3 movies. animate, only two or three animated movies. But as far as that, outside the Justice League cartoons, nothing much.
Yeah, yeah, because there's the cartoons. There's like a 2007 Wonder Woman movie,
And
and
then
then she had a
Bloodlines.
standalone. Yeah, Bloodlines was a stand. I think that might be it.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
both of those were kind of traditional. Like, here's Wonder Woman starting out, leaving Themyscira and doing her own thing. She fights a villain, movie
yeah,
over. Like,
pretty much. Yeah, Steve Trevor's also here.
right? Yeah,
Like,
pretty
pretty
much.
much.
Um, and yeah, like Wonder Woman, she just never seems to get the respect that the rest of,
Mm.
like that. Obviously Batman, Superman are DC's biggest heroes, but she's third. Like she,
Oh yeah, I mean, like like she's still in the big three. I mean,
yeah,
she's third, but she's still in the big three.
right. Like she has, I think she started in the 19. It was like early 1940s, so she's been around for a while.
Oh yeah,
She has an insane rogues gallery of various gods, demons, just regular powered beings, just business people, whoever.
yeah,
You can pull in other villains from other places. Like you could have at least 3 seasons of her just doing stuff.
yeah. I mean, like Greek mythology villains alone is like insane.
Mm-hmm.
But you have like you've got her actual like rogues gallery with like Giganta, Doctor Poison, and stuff like that. So it's like
Cheetah, yeah.
yeah, Cheetah obviously is a big one. So like yeah, you have a lot to work with as far as villains, and I feel like between how cool Themyscira can be as well as like her adapting to the real world, I think you could do a lot with that for sure.
Yeah, you could essentially do it where like the first season is her just leaving Themyscira and fighting in whatever war is going on at the time, and then you can have a time skip to her in the future and doing modern day stuff with other villains, and you could at some point have her fight Ares, Hades, whatever, a Minotaur, whatever. Like you
Yeah,
like I think there's a lot of potential there, and yeah, like just like she's one of those characters that because she hasn't gotten a lot of screen time, people don't understand that she could have this series, but people who actually know her was like, yeah, this could easily go on, be good and go on for a while if they wanted to.
yeah. I mean, Wonder Woman's no joke. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, there was no date or whatever. Just James Gunn tweeting about how he's very passionate about getting this off the ground. So
Okay.
yeah. Last bit of DC news. Harvey Dent is heavily rumored for Batman Part 2. I don't think that's a shock. Like it's
No.
set up perfectly for a new DA to be
Yeah.
in there, and yeah, um, yeah, it's not a lot, but I'll take any crumbs for the Batman stuff. Like it's
We're just patiently waiting.
yeah, like we know nothing about the villains. We know nothing about actors for anything. I just it's rumored that this character who's probably going to be in it is going to be in it. It's like I'll take it. um, moving on to Disney stuff for a second. That Secret Invasion show that Disney's been weirdly quiet about is
Hmm.
officially releasing on June 21st.
This year,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
that's so. That's it feels like such a big thing to not be talking about.
yeah. There was a trailer like middle of last year, and then nothing.
Yeah, but like that's kind of what I mean. I'm like I know they've kind of said they want to step back from shows a little bit, but I feel like this is a show to kind of be a little more pump your chest out about, or at
Yeah,
least it should be.
like it's partly the Nick Fury show we've all wanted. It's partly Secret Invasion, which is one of like it's for like the more popular Marvel things. Like I have a feeling this show is gonna have at least some kind of major ramification on on stuff going forward. So the fact they're not pushing it's a little concerning, but come April May, I'm sure they'll They'll like really dig in on that. But I'm also kind of wondering, since this is late June, when is Loki coming out? Because that was also supposed to be summer. Like, so that's late July at the latest if they want to do back to back this Marvel stuff.
Which kind of starts the whole problem they had last time of just like show, movie, show. It's like
Right.
let it breathe a little bit.
Mm. But regardless, I mean, I'm always been very excited for Secret Invasion. So, June, cool.
Yeah.
Something I'm not as excited about. A live action Aristocats movie is officially in the works. There's been a rumor for a while that it's official.
Why?
You want to know why? Legitimately, the
Why?
reason why this was announced the other day was because, like, mere minutes before this announcement happened, it was also quietly announced that Disney was laying off 7,000 more people. It's just every single time Disney has like a major round of layoffs, they announce some sequel to something. Last time it was Zootopia 2 and Frozen 3. Now, like, you think Aristocrats is the big gun? Sure, throw it out there.
Aristocrat. I mean,
It's every single
again,
time.
I'm not against an Aristocrats movie, but I am against a live action Aristocrats movie
In a way,
for obvious
that
reasons.
I'm more okay with Aristocats than I am like Lion King or Little Mermaid because that's a much older movie. So in a way, like it probably could be modernized and brought into a new audience that doesn't know it exists because everyone knows Little Mermaid exists. Everyone knows Aladdin,
Yes.
Mulan, etc. exists. Aristocats is one of those from like the 50s or 60s, whenever, where like people maybe have heard the songs but they've never actually seen the movie. This guy, like,
Yes. I mean, true, but again, live action does not like
No.
again, not with this kind of character. Like if it was all people, sure, but like I
I don't
don't
know.
know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's like I, I'm gonna be surprised if this is a like big like theater movie because the Peter Pan remake is gonna be on Disney Plus. The Lady and the Tramp remake was on Disney Plus. So if Aristocats, that I hope that's Disney Plus because that is not
That feels
theater
Disney
level.
Plus to me. No, it definitely feels like Disney Plus. And again, like I don't think Aristocats is really a headliner either to
No.
bring people into the theater. So like, yeah, that's probably just gonna be stashed in Disney Plus for some reason. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just, but again, this doesn't feel like I don't. I'm not against them doing another Aristocrats, but why live action? They're cats. Like this is gonna be weird. Like just
Yeah.
make just you have excellent animation. Just do that.
They they're also good at CG stuff too in live
Not with
action.
animals. Like
No. Yeah.
no, like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like I get like trying to like expose a new audience, but don't like it doesn't have to be live action, especially when there's no people really. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get that. It's the same thing with Lion King. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't own a multi Disney. I don't own a multi-billion-dollar industry, so I can't say anything. But you know,
Yeah. Whatever. It's coming whether you like it or not.
right, right.
Before this is all over, they're gonna remake every single movie they make and then start remaking those movies 20 years from now.
Yeah. Well, you're just gonna start doing live action remakes every 20 years,
Yep.
and then they're gonna switch it up and reanimate them again, and then it's just
That live action Cinderella movie we made back in 2014 or whatever, that wasn't good enough. Let's make it animated now. Like,
there. Yeah, let's do that
yeah.
because we totally need to redo what's already been done twice. Like, okay,
Sure.
right? But then again, if it sells,
Mm-hmm. Anyway, speaking of movies that sell, John Wick 4 had the biggest opening for the John Wick franchise at 137 million worldwide,
As
which
it
is
should.
great for that franchise.
Yep.
To put that into perspective, Shazam: Fury of the Gods has only made like about 110 million in 2 weekends, which is
That second weekend drop off was brutal.
68% drop off. Like that is crazy bad. It wasn't
Woo!
even like that high to begin with.
Yeah. Like,
uh,
oof.
like I know you haven't seen Shazam. I haven't seen John Wick, so we're not going to get into like major spoilers right now. But from the experience I had with Shazam, which like I'm not gonna go into spoilers. I have some thoughts. I don't think people who hate it have a justified reason for hate it. I don't think people who love it, I think they're a little too extreme. It's somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere
I
in the
don't
gray.
necessarily think it should bomb as hard as it's bombing, but clearly people like John Wick, you know.
Yes.
And I don't really feel bad for Warner Brothers because they put this movie out a week before John Wick, which was a week before Dungeons and Dragons, which was a week before Mario. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you had so much other opportunity to put this out. You just
I mean,
now,
granted, it wasn't as bad as last time. Because last time it was sandwiched between like the biggest movie like ever. So it's like, yeah,
but
but
you could have put it
yeah, it's still kind of
after, like if somewhere like mid to late April. I think you would have been fine. Like, not much else was coming out
yeah.
then, but like in
Guardians
middle,
is early May, so
yeah,
like
but like also in early March, you also had Creed a few weeks prior, and Ant Man's still in theaters.
yeah.
So it was just
That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like at some point you're like, if you're a good enough movie, you kind of have to sink or swim, like kind
right,
of
and
thing. It's
like
like you can't just
John Wick's is
wait,
surviving. Dungeons and Dragons is also
right?
doing really well.
Right. So it's like maybe it's just like maybe it's just not up to stuff. I don't know, but like yeah, we're in like the movie hole right now where it's literally every weekend, boom, boom, boom,
Mm-hmm.
boom, until like May,
Yeah.
like late mid May. It's like it's going because, like you said, Dungeons and Dragons is this weekend, Mario's next weekend. Like it's coming. Guardians is in like a month. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh man, but unfortunate for Shazam, but at the same time, I think the whole us now already knowing DC's kind of just playing out what they had on slate before they completely overhauled did not help at all. Because I
Yeah.
mean that's I don't think because people care about continuity and like if they already know this movie's not going to be connected, they're just kind of like whatever, like
Yeah, and again, no spoilers, but like the after credit scene, like it's kind of open for interpretation whether or not this could continue. It's like if this movie were successful enough, they could have made it work,
yeah,
but I don't think it's. First of all, it might just be me, but I personally never really loved Zachary Levi as Shazam. I just didn't think he
really,
looked the part. I just don't really love his personality as Shazam, and he's kind of worse in this movie than he was in the first one. Um,
wow,
just I don't know. Like he's a fine actor, but like I don't know. There's something about him just never really felt right, and I feel like he didn't
interesting,
capture the character like like someone like Robert Downey Jr. did, or any of the Spider
yeah,
people, or even any Batman actors like really captured that character. He's just I don't
interesting.
know.
See, I really liked him in the first one, so maybe I have to see the second one to really kind of get what you're feeling. But like,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that you take your takes that way, but I don't know. I have to check this out because yeah, I've heard very mixed reviews, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's this is one of those movies where like mixed reviews is fine because like it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's definitely not the worst thing ever. Any any reviewer who I feel gives it more than an 8 is a little too generous. Anybody gives it lower than a 5, I think is a little too harsh. But like
Mm,
if
it's in
you're,
there somewhere.
it's in there somewhere. But if you're uninterested because you're not sure if it'll connect, I can't do a lot to convince you to see it. But if you want like
Yeah,
a fun, you know, you know, what is it like 100 110 minutes of just fun action, go for it. Like,
Sure.
yeah. But yeah, we'll like full on review it whenever you see it
Oh yeah,
next.
for sure.
But yeah, but same with John Wick, and I like again, I love the first three movies quite a bit, and I'm very very excited to see this one, and the fact that people are still loving this franchise, even though people like were a little down on the third one, people still people really liked it, and now the fourth one, even though it's almost 3 hours long, people don't really seem to care. It's still making
Mhm.
money. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Like I really enjoyed it. Like that's all I'm gonna say. I really enjoyed it. Like is you're gonna like
All
it. I
right.
think.
Okay. I think that's all the topics I have to discuss today. Is there anything else you think I missed or want to bring up?
I don't think so. I think I've got pretty much everything. But yeah, just like it's a very exciting time of year because like at the beginning of the year we know we had our like list of exciting things we had, and I had my ultimate list of like everything in like chronological
Mm-hmm.
order, and it's like we're slowly going down the list and things are getting clocked, and we're kind of getting to the sweet spot now with this like end of March, early April kind of things because movies are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Like about Network Legacy is 3 weeks
It
away,
is. Yeah.
which is awesome. And then, as we just saw, Tears of the Kingdom is looks awesome, and that's gonna be here in May, and just like
Mm-hmm.
Guardians 3's in May. Like it's a good time to be a nerd. It's a good time,
Yep. Sure is.
isn't it always?
Okay. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.